Hi, everyone. Welcome back to episode 71 of the Simply One podcast. I'm your host, Colin, and I'm joined by my co-host, Chris.
How we doing, everybody?
We're just a couple of best friends who are passionate about all things pop culture. If you're looking for lukewarm takes on movies, video games, TV shows, or even the occasional comic, then we got the show for you.
That's right.
That is right. No, it's correct.
Oh, that's fucking right. Excuse me.
Jesus, you're a piglet.
A little bit of that 2%. It's going back up. Getting a little milk.
Turns out I'm a little lactose intolerant.
Just me eating a block of cheese at 3 a.m. Turns out I'm a little
lactose intolerant. Just eating cottage cheese sitting on the toilet. I just can't stop. This week, Chris and I are talking about some news, trying to catch up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then we're just going to do Chris's topic from that he kind of promoted the end of last week about different apocalyptic scenarios.
That's right.
We're going to try and do, full disclosure, Chris won't be here next week. So, well, as far as you guys are concerned, he will be. But he won't be here next week. So we're going to try and record 2 episodes this week in prep. And so it works out, maybe, because Mission Impossible comes out on Wednesday. So we might only do a review of Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that'd be cool with me.
And we're already doing the news for the week today. So we got some news from Deadpool 3. Quite a few set photos and some casting news. We got our first full-length trailer for Twisted Metal and Napoleon. Yeah. And then, let's see, what else is there out there in the news? I had it all pulled up here. Oh yeah, we got news of a new Marvel video game coming out. That's in development, so.
They're pretty hit or miss. The Avengers?
Get that shit out of here.
Miles Morales?
No, wait a moment. Insomniac knows their way around a Spider-Man game. And they're the ones making the Wolverine game, so I'm pretty jazzed about that.
For the Wolverine game.
But do you want to start with the video game?
Yeah.
With the Marvel video game?
Yeah.
Full disclosure, it is coming from an EA studio, I think. Yep. So, who knows?
You ready for the microtransactions?
Potentially, but Jedi Fallen Order is EA.
That's true.
And so, maybe they're trying to lean into single-player experiences more, because this is going to be a third-person single-player game from some of the same people who made, like, the Shadow of Mordor games. Oh. And it is a Black Panther game.
Oh, actually? That'd be pretty cool.
So it's apparently a new-ish studio. The studio is called Cliffhanger Games, and it's basically a bunch of industry vets that have kind of come together to make a new studio. Yeah. And like I said, a large portion of them worked for Monolith Studios, making the Middle-earth games, which both were pretty good, but the second one definitely suffered from the microtransactions heavily. And kind of flopped a bit as far as like fan reaction, but gameplay wise, pretty crisp. Yeah. Like they had something in that called the Nemesis system, which unfortunately I think Warner Brothers or whoever published those games, I don't remember who. Oh, I guess it was Warner Brothers Games. They like copyrighted it or patented, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Something called the Nemesis system that was in those games. No, they didn't plagiarize it because they did invent it, but they made it so that nobody else can use it. Oh, yeah. They had this Nemesis system where you might fight a regular Joe villain, and then he would come back later with like scars from your battle and potentially having leveled up. Oh. And like there was basically a roster of enemies, and they might move up as you kill somebody. Mm-hmm. Somebody moves in to fill his place and things like that. And people get promoted if they beat you in combat and things like that. And so it's kind of cool that you might have like a nemesis, right? That like by the end of the game, you fought this guy like 5 times and he's all scarred up and has different prosthetics and stuff and all that, and like hates you, and you guys have history. And it's kind of like a natural storytelling thing that falls into place of
that's cool.
Different for each time you play it. And unfortunately, it's never really been used in another game before that Warner Brothers has made. And then they patented the bitch so that nobody else could use it. And it's like, well, that's kind of a really cool system that I wish was just available. Yeah. Because then if anybody else goes, that was a really good idea, I'd like to use something like that, they run the risk of getting sued. And it's like, dude.
Well, Warner Brothers had to ruin it for everybody.
Warner Brothers is a bunch of wet blankets. That's
right.
Them blankets, they're soggy.
Yeah, they're nasty. I just fucking gross. You pitch them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no salvaging.
Because I was bummed out, because at first I didn't remember that, and the first thing I thought of when they said Shadow Mordor was the Nemesis system, and so I was like, ooh, imagine like a Nemesis system in the Black Panther game, where you're in Wakanda fighting like poachers or whatever, maybe, right? Or other villains.
Poacher, I barely know.
You know what? I fucking thought of that joke. Joke, air quotes, right? When I was talking to Morgan about Oppenheimer and said, Oppenheimer, I barely know her. Because we were talking about, should I bring that up?
Yeah.
As news? Apparently, there is, quote, prolonged full nudity between Cillian Murphy and Florence Pugh. and so here's the description. Not of the nudity, but of the scenario that I've set myself in. My father and I, because you won't be here, you fuck, have decided that we are going to drive to our nearest true IMAX theater, which is about a 90-minute drive. Boom! Just blow your ass away with audio. And potentially a real nuclear explosion. I love all that shit where, Chris Nolan was like, there's zero... I forget how he phrased it. There's no SFX in the movie, but there is visual effect. So, like, there's a difference, Yeah. I think it's maybe the flip of that. There is special effects. There's no visual effects. So it's not like in post they made an explosion.
Sure, they made
an
blow
explosion, yeah, using visual or special effects. But everybody's like, I think this man just detonated a nuclear device. Boom. But anyways, my father and I already have the tickets. We're going to drive 90 minutes to the nearest IMAX theater. That's a full, actual, it's going to run 70 millimeter film. We're going to see it on the largest screen I've ever seen a film on. And there's apparently just going to be, it's that awkward experience of watching a sex scene with a parent in the largest screen I've ever seen. And apparently we're going to set out to do it, You
gotta make sure your dad he doesn't get all fucking bricked up in the movie.
Nah, he's too old. He doesn't get boners anymore.
Yeah.
He doesn't get wood. He gets particle board. He gets
the pool noodle.
Yeah,
You pick it up and it's kind of.
If he's getting wood, it's balsa. It's pretty light. It floats. But yeah, so I'm driving 90 minutes to watch a sex scene with my dad, I guess, on the largest screen I've ever seen a movie on.
Talk about bonding.
Yeah, happy Father-Son Day, Yeah. In other news, do you want to talk about trailers or do you want to talk about Deadpool?
Hit me with the Deadpool.
Some Deadpool. So I've got a little bit of theory, and I didn't invent this theory. I've seen other people talking about it, and I agree that it sounds plausible. Apparently, Jennifer Garner is going to be returning as Elektra in Deadpool 3. So she was Elektra in the 2004 Daredevil film.
Yeah.
And there were rumors for a long time that Ben Affleck was going to show up as Daredevil. And it's funny because it was that was a Fox movie. And we just saw a photo from set of a destroyed, apocalyptic looking 20th Century Fox logo.
Well, because he can time travel now.
Sure, but I think it's going to definitely be multiversal.
That's what I'm thinking.
Is the idea of
how is he going to do that?
So, well, I don't know, but I'm wondering if his air quote the Fox universe is suffering a what do you call that from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where somebody from another multiverse is in yours for too long.
Explosion.
Not a cataclysm, but basically your whole universe disintegrates and collapses.
Yeah, hate to see it.
So I'm wondering if that's going to happen to
Ben Affleck's, or that
to
happened?
Fox.
Oh, okay.
In general, but I saw somebody talking about, I think it was maybe what's his name, Straw Hat Goofy or whatever on TikTok. He's kind of a Marvel DC comic book news guy, and he had a theory months ago that this might end up being instead of there's a comic book called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, where it's just Deadpool killing all of the Marvel characters. I don't remember the setup, but it's just him going on a rampage, right? What if it's the Fox universe and it's just Deadpool going on a killing spree, destroying the old, the rest of the Fox universe, and then escaping to the Marvel universe?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, and we did get a set photo of he and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in the full 90s cartoon blue and yellow, costume.
Now, I've also heard that this is going to take place in Logan times.
I mean, I don't know.
So I'm not sure.
I'm going to level with you. The more the best thing we could do is not worry about the X-Men timeline. Because two things. First thing,
the X-Men timeline's already messy.
It's gone anyways. It doesn't matter anymore. And second thing, it was already a mess. Because Logan, chronologically, doesn't make sense as a sequel to Days of Future Past or even the other Wolverine movies. Mm-hmm. It only makes sense really as a sequel. A lot of people said the best way to think of it is that the first X-Men movie happened and then nothing else happened.
Yeah.
And then, Logan, where, they just acquired mutants and things like that, and they had built a school, and then Charles has started to lose his mind and accidentally killed most of the students at the school.
Oops.
Oopsie
Happened,
doopsie.
hate to say it.
Yeah. But, so and if it does take place after Logan's dead, so it doesn't really make sense to have Wolverine. I don't think it's worth, worrying too much about it,
No.
But I am excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine interact.
I know Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman are really good friends.
They're good friends anyhow,
so
yeah.
I imagine that banter between them is going to be really fucking good.
Because you figure they had, some screen time together in, Origins, but he was Deadpool in name only, And so it's kind of going to be fun to see him actually get to be Deadpool with him.
Or was it in the first Deadpool? He's got the picture of Hugh Jackman stapled to his face.
Stapled to his face when he takes his mask off. Just... But yeah, I mean, a bunch of people are already talking about that. They're in that movie, and so I'm kind of excited to see okay, if she's back as Elektra, you would think they've got to be working on getting Ben Affleck as Daredevil, considering that's where she's from.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, you figure they had Brad Pitt for a single frame of Deadpool 2 because he's the disappearer or whatever.
Yeah.
And he fucking gets electrocuted and it's just Brad Pitt. You're like, what the fuck?
I totally fucking forgot about that.
And apparently that's because the director of Bullet Train was the director of Deadpool 2.
Okay.
And, was like, hey, and he had been Brad Pitt's stunt double for a long, long time before he got into directing. And so he was like, hey, I got a role for you, a quick cameo. He's like, oh, okay, how do you need me? And he's like, well, here's the catch. You're basically not in this movie. You're just gonna...
The whole shtick.
Yeah, the whole shtick is that you're invisible. Nobody knows if you even really exist. Because even when they introduce him in the scene, when they're auditioning, it's an empty room.
All right, and he goes, oh.
Yeah. And then, you're going to hit electrical wire, and for a frame of the movie, we're going to see that that's Brad Pitt. It's going to be so quick that people go, was that Brad Pitt? And he was like, all right, only because it's you. And it's he basically just had to show up, lay on a green screen box on his belly, and just get it, and then leave.
It.
Yeah.
Do you think they even paid him to do it?
No, I'm pretty sure he said he did it free.
Good.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a nice little bit. But Domino will not be back. I think we talked about that.
Which makes me kind of sad, yeah, because I really like Domino's character. Mm-hmm. I really did.
Yeah, just the idea of luck as a superpower.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of stupid.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Putting chemicals in the waters.
Turn the fucking frogs gay. Do you want to do it Napoleon or Twisted Metal?
Twisted Metal first.
Twisted Metal. Fucking Anthony Mackie. Mackie. I liked the humor in it.
Yeah.
It kind of it threads the needle a little bit. There was times where I felt it leaned a little where you're like, oh, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, it was,
I think
that's funny.
In the trailer, there's a part where they all pull guns out of his waistband, and they're all empty. He's like,
oh, so this never happens.
Yeah, that one I was like, that's leaning kind of heavy into it.
But I liked them having a shootout in the remains of a mall. And he's circling the You Are Here map. He's like, oh, there's a Foot Locker. And somebody blows out his window and he's like, son of a bitch. But, no, I mean.
Son of a bitch.
Fuck. Yeah. Anthony Mackie's a funny guy anyways. Yeah. I love watching just clips of him and fucking Sebastian Stan
digging on Tom Holland.
Well, no, just in general, them on press tours.
Oh yeah.
And he refers to his ass as the brown round because he's very proud of his glutes. He does a lot of leg and glute exercises. And they were doing some game, and it was like, can you tell us whose butt this is? And it's just photos of legs or whatever in their butts. And they're like, oh, that's Chris Evans. Oh, that's Downey. Oh, that's, And they pull up one and he goes, Shabooyaka! And Sebastian Stan keeps, just busts out laughing and he's like, that's the brown round.
Booyaka! He knows it. He knew his own ass like, a mile away.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just, boom, that's it right there. That's the brown round. But no, he's a funny guy. Mm-hmm. I did like just seeing fucking oh god, I just completely lost his name. The clown, Sweet Tooth. No. Yes, just fucking like looks like he's just got people in processing like it's a regular prison.
Yeah.
And he just decapitates somebody and is just like, all right, well, I'm out of here. Turns around and leaves, and the guy's like, I've never seen somebody decapitate somebody and catch their head just quite as well as you did. And he's going, thank you. You know, and I do like him just the fact that his vehicle, which in the game is true too, is an ice cream truck that's just been converted into a Mad Max style death machine. And he's just got a fucking minigun hanging out the side.
I've never played any of the Twisted Metal games.
They were pretty fun from like early 2000s, PS2 era. My sister didn't like them because she's afraid of clowns. And, you know, the box cover is Sweet Tooth. So, you know, you're like,
is he the only clown in it?
I think so. But it's a pretty fun game. You know, just driving around, fucking cars up, blowing shit up.
Naturally.
What more do you need?
That's it.
So I did like that I don't remember much of the story. I don't even know if I ever played. If there was a story mode, I don't know that I ever played it because I'm pretty sure I just, you know, back when you didn't even have a memory card for your PS2, so you just fired the game up, played it, shut it off, and it was like it never happened, you know? Game over. And so I just jump in and I'll probably just do the tutorial level, you know?
Yeah.
Then be like, all right, well, that was fun.
That's fun.
Shut it off. But so in this, the setup was that, like, for some reason, like 20 years ago, America just fell into lawlessness. And most of the major cities just built walls to keep out the outlaws and then kicked out all the criminals to just fend for themselves out beyond the walls. So it's just Mad Max style mayhem on the outside. And Mackie plays John Doe, who his whole role is that he's somebody who specializes in like basically being a courier between the walled up cities. And that was kind of a fun little bit when Neve Campbell is like, you know, I can set you up here in San Francisco. You know, give you anything you want. You know, you just name your price, and he's like, toilet paper, 2-ply. She's like, I think I can do better than that. And he kind of gets big eyes, and he's like, 3-ply. It's funny poop joke. Yeah, I like that.
Shit humor will always make me laugh.
That's a shitty joke.
Are we still fucking recording?
Are we still doing this thing? Jesus.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we are recording. All right, we're good. Fucking Twisted Metal. That's all I had for that. Napoleon.
Yo.
I like that they reminded us. I like how they remind us just of how many movies fucking Ridley Scott's made.
Yeah.
When they were just like director of, and it was like fucking Alien, Gladiator, fucking Black Hawk Down. You know, and they're just throwing movies at your face. Blade Runner, and you're like, my God, this man's prolific. But like he's made some stinkies too, which is the hard part for me.
Do you think that's like, why they did it? Is they put a lot of his good movies in there?
Oh yeah, I mean they didn't go like, you know, director of Alien Covenant, you know, or Prometheus, and you're like,
Prometheus wasn't that good.
Prometheus was pretty mid, you know. There's that cool scene where the dude gets his arm snapped by the snake thing, but other than that,
that was pretty cool.
And there's the fucking C-section scene. That was pretty scary.
Yeah, and the thing bursts open, the acid gets on her stomach, her open wound.
Yeah. Just gets stapled shut.
Oof.
Boof. No painkillers. Nothing. It's a miracle she didn't black out.
She better watch her. She's fucking, you know.
Better get old Joaquin Phoenix here as Napoleon Bonaparte. I don't know why I was Spanish.
Whenever I think of Napoleon,
it's just a dynamite.
I think of the epic rap battle of history.
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon versus Napoleon.
Welcome to the Battle of Waterloo Part 2.
So fucking dumb.
Stupid. Fucking, they are, by the way, I don't know if we ever acknowledged it, but they're making a Gladiator 2. Yeah, and fucking Pedro Pascal's in it. Pedro Pascal. And people were like dumb enough to be like, Russell Crowe, are you in this movie? And he's like, I don't know if y'all saw Gladiator, but your boy's dead. Like, I die at the end of that movie. It's sad as shit. There's music, and I'm waving my hands through fucking the wheat, you know? And I get to be with my son and wife. And they're all like, oh, yeah.
No. Yeah.
Just thought it'd be kind of cool if you were in it, you know? And he's like, oh, you fucking dunce. But, yeah, so I'm kind of cool. I'm kind of jazzed up to see Pedro Pascal in, like, a fucking sword and sandal movie. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
You know, sword and sandal movie.
I remember there's a game called Sword and Sandals.
There's a game called Sword and Sandals.
Swords and Sandals. And it used to be like one of those games we could play on like the school computer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
bro,
like, what was it, like, you know, math class, whatever. Math class, computer games, whatever.
Well, they weren't like math games. It was just a game.
No, I know, but that was the name of the website.
Oh, it was Cool Math Games?
Yeah, something like that.
But
and there was like addicting games.
Oh my God, dude. Addicting games.
Flash games?
That's
Come on,
it.
baby.
That's it. But
There were some good like flash horror games too.
I remember someone
Just
was
throw up
able
in your mouth?
a little bit. Someone was able to get Slenderman on something.
Work on Flash.
Yeah, and I was able to play that. And I remember fucking study hall. I'm in the like 6th grade. I'm
On the Chromebook, just
I turn around and I can't even turn around with the mouse. I'm turning around with the mouse
fucking
pad.
touchpad. Slender Man's just right there. Your screen starts fuzzing up. You're like, ah!
Dude, I wouldn't. Now these kids
Somebody's
got all
shushing
these different games.
all these damn kids with
Freddy
their
Fazbear's Pizzeria, FNAF.
all their
So many variations of that now, man. Just creating original
their
fucking
FNAFs
games.
and all right, relax, easy. Jesus, I don't see you making original games.
That goes in the water.
So Joaquin Phoenix is playing Napoleon Bonaparte. I mean, it just seems like it's going to be a Napoleon Bone. There does seem like there's going to be some Napoleon Bone.
Yeah. He's boning her apart.
He's boning it apart. He's boning it apart. There it is. So I don't know. Napoleon's kind of like. It seems like maybe they're because like in the trailer like flash words for like the fucking dawn of an emperor. They do call him a tyrant, and so
I do think we're gonna see him fall.
Well, yeah. It's like how he dies in prison. Right. So I'm like, hopefully, I hope they lean into the fact that they're like, yeah, this man was drunk with power and was like, yeah, we're going to liberate France from the monarchy and then name me the emperor. And then I'm going to conquer most of Europe and invade Russia. I'm going to fucking shoot cannonballs at the Sphinx. Like I'm in Egypt, He's doing the thing.
He had heart. I'll tell you that.
By God, he's got spirit, How about you? I'm sure we'll see Waterloo. It did look like there were some big battles, which is kind of cool. I like seeing like, Napoleon era combat, cannonball, musket fire in formation,
Yeah, because that takes real strategy.
Yes and no. You know what I mean? Where it's like back when we were fighting a quote unquote gentleman's war and you're like, we're just going to put a lot of guys out there. Get real bunched up. Make sure they stand real close together. When these cannonballs come through, you just keep marching. I don't care if the dude next to you just got turned to paste.
You keep moving.
Keep moving forward until I say stop, And they're like, we'll throw enough guys at you. And like back then, battles just lasted like the afternoon. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, well, they all died. Enough of them died that we came out and just traded. I handed you my sword. We shook hands and went home.
Called it.
And I was kind of telling you that like Napoleon changed that a little bit, where it was like, no, I can lose a lot of dudes and just keep fighting. And so yeah, I bet we're gonna see a lot of
bloodshed.
Yeah, a lot of death.
What was it, that one scene in the trailer where shooting the cannonballs at the frozen lake?
Yeah, drawing them out onto the lake and then dropping them in, and you can see the blood in the water. Yeah,
that looked real dope.
Yeah, and I mean, when a cannonball hits a human,
they made him like 4'2" in the trailer. I saw it.
Yeah, there's just Joaquin Phoenix with shoes on his knees, walking onto set like a fucking High School Musical Wizard of Oz munchkin,
looking like Lord Farquaad.
The jawline.
Some of you may die.
There was a weird moment in the trailer where like I can't take Joaquin Phoenix like playfully, you know what I mean? He just seems like such a serious, solemn man. There's a part in the trailer where like he's supposed to be flirting with his wife or his lover, he like takes his hat off and kind of like flippantly flings it like he's being goofy, and it just his face still looks like fucking
Joker.
Arthur Fleck, just sad as shit. You're like, oh man.
Oof.
Joaquin Phoenix, you're bumming me out, my guy.
My guy.
And then the Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, yeah.
And Scorsese film with fucking Leo DiCaprio.
That looks real fucking good.
You got to have Bobby De Niro in there if it's Scorsese. What's his name? Meth Damon. Fucking what is his name? What's his name?
Ricky Bobby.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
I think it's in there. Let me take another look.
Why did you say? Let me get one more. What the hell is his name?
Is it not Meth Damon?
It's not, actually.
Could have convinced me.
I bet if I type in Meth Damon, though.
Probably gonna get someone.
Sure as shit, Jesse Plemons. I typed in Meth Damon, and it's like, yeah, you mean Jesse Plemons. And then I can't remember the young lady's name that's playing Leo's wife in that.
It's Lily something.
Yeah. IMDb this shit.
Churchill.
Yeah.
This is sitting heavy.
Lily Gladstone.
Basically what I said.
Yeah. So, it seems like so it says a true American story. So I don't know if it's like an actual true story or if it's just like, here's some American ass shit, we're gonna rehome, essentially relocate just a tribe of Native American Indians, indigenous folk, out that way, and then find out that we put them right on a nice oil field, and then go, actually, psych, we like that oil.
Yeah, we want that back.
We like money.
Black gold.
That's right.
What?
I was worried about what you were about to say.
What do you mean?
Nothing. Yeah. And so it does seem pretty intense of like, there's some like organized crime stuff going on. Classic Scorsese, Mm-hmm. Kind of had me thinking of like Gangs in New York, as far as like just shooting people in the middle of the street, bombs going off inside buildings, and
Matt Damon coming in from Washington saying, "I'm here for the murders that's been happening.
I'm here to see about them murders.
I do declare."
And fucking DiCaprio's like, "Well, you hear see about them?" He's like, "Who's doing them?"
Who's doing them?
He's like, "Oh, word.
That'd be me.
That'd be my fat ass."
That would be my big fat ass. Mm-hmm.
DiCaprio has been getting a little pudgy, hasn't he?
He's getting older.
Yeah.
Girlfriend's saying,
"Hey, oh, hey, boom,
shaboyaka."
Yeah, he's
Still
reaching.
got it.
Still got it. Zinger. Fucking Bazinga from fucking, what is that?
Big Bang
Big
Theory.
Bang Theory, yeah. Bazinga.
There's this meme I'll have to find and show you, which is like a breakdown. It's Leonard driving in a car. It's just a computer sitting next to him, and Sheldon comes on and goes Bazinga, and it cuts to just a horrible car accident because Leonard just and turns. Let's see if I can find it.
People lost their life.
Bazinga.
Bazinga. But no, the thing I did want to mention about both Killers of the Flower Moon and Napoleon was that both of those films are being made or produced by Apple.
Apple's coming in.
Apple's moving in, and both of them said like only in theaters. So they're like,
Thanksgiving.
Apple's producing movies to put out in theaters. Mm-hmm. And the reason they do that is because then it can be considered for the Oscars.
Sure.
Figure like with Netflix and All Quiet on the Western Front and fucking Knives Out, Glass Onion. They're like, we're going to put this in theaters for a week so that technically it had a theatrical run and we can run it for the Oscars.
Fuck yeah,
when I think they really should have just given it a theatrical release.
Well, they wouldn't be getting as much money then.
Well, sure. Well, maybe they would have gotten more.
Mm-hmm. That's just the gamble, playing craps.
Yep.
Give me 7.
You're stupid.
That's how you play craps.
I know, but just the...
Come on, Dad needs a new pair of shoes.
I'm gonna blow my dice.
You just hold them right next to your fucking zipper.
I'll blow all my dice. And just an old man at the craps table. The fucking the waitress is just like, oh fuck,
Jesus,
oh my god. That's all I got about the news. What you been thinking about this week?
I think what you meant to say is, welcome back to Chris's Cryptid Corner. I'm your host, the douche.
You know what kills me about that is that you haven't properly watched all of Parks and Rec, have you? 'Cause that's where that's from. Mm-hmm. It's Crazy Ira and the douche.
Yeah,
that's a good bit in that fucking show, dude.
It's a good what?
Bit.
What?
A bit. There's also a fucking Ron Swanson is doing a bit where he's on like the Today Show version for Pawnee, right? And his fucking the host who's supposed to be interviewing him
is just like super drunk.
Yeah. And so he's just taking calls. And I love that, it just starts
Whenever
doing...
I drink too much, I always put on a wet pair of socks, sear a steak.
Fucking flat iron steak,
and a flank.
Yeah, flank steak, and go to bed, and that works. He's like, every time. Yeah. And just whatever. And he's just running through all these, And his last one is something to the effect of like, I've only seen 3 movies in my life. Bridge Over the River Kwai, Patton, and Herbie Fully Loaded.
With Lindsay Lohan. Fully Loaded.
Yeah, I've seen Bridge Over the River Kwai, which is a World War II film, Fucking Patton, another World War II film. And Herbie Fully Loaded. He's like, my girlfriend's kids love it. Yeah. And then he goes, it's pretty funny. Anyways.
So no, yeah. After that, and we're gonna be talking more on a serious tone of a post-apocalyptic situation.
Mm-hmm.
So here we're just gonna be running through a couple
Toe
of
shoes.
situations. Toe shoes.
Yeah.
A couple.
They work in the catacombs.
Mm-hmm.
They work in nuclear fallout.
That's fucking right. But I'm just gonna be going through a couple questions and scenarios that I thought would have been really interesting to hear your point of view and mine, because we do. I think with situations like these, we differ a little bit, but for the main part,
Sure. I think you overestimate your abilities a lot.
I don't think so.
Of course you don't.
I know what I'm capable of. I can suck a golf ball through a garden hose. Let me
I know
get
what I'm
this
about.
straight.
I'll survive any post-apocalypse. Because you know what? All I got to do is ask me what that mouth do.
So
Wow.
the first question I wanted to ask, and it's kind of a two-parter, so stay with me here, is
Just cross my eyes at you. Fucking mouth agape.
Officer Goopy
Reporting for duty.
is do you think you would, well, let me start off with this. What do you think a couple good apocalyptic situations we could become that seem realistic? Because obviously there's going to be like nuclear war,
Right, yeah.
right? So like like obviously like moving after that.
Okay.
What do you think would be the runner-up?
General societal collapse,
Okay.
whether it be from resource scarcity or just unrest, weather related, just natural disasters. Those don't feel as far fetched as they should. You know what I mean?
Right. I put down if we ever run out of kind of what you're saying with resource scarcity. If we ever run out of like Chef Boyardee,
Yeah, that's
Game
it.
over.
Yeah,
It's done.
Fucking death's like just gunners in the street. You know.
you know how they have that that building out in Antarctica of all the seeds.
I don't think it's in Antarctica. I think it's up in the north
Or the North
in the
Pole,
Arctic.
yeah.
Yeah, we've just
And,
got a fucking bunker of every plant on Earth. Just
There's a can of Chef Boyardee in there. I know
Yeah.
it. I fucking know
they got the formiola. You know.
it. With the meatballs.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd survive? Let's say there was a natural disaster, given our location. We're pretty
What type of natural disaster do you think?
earthquakes.
Yeah.
I think shifting tectonic plates, something's going to happen.
Right.
Something's going to give,
Yeah.
and that's going to cause a tsunami.
I think it's kind of like flying a plane, right? Where it's like the initial, they talk about takeoff is the hardest part. Takeoff and landing. Once you're in the air, you're pretty all right. I think we always see like post-apocalyptic, but like the actual apocalypse itself, the thing that causes the downfall. Mm-hmm. That's when most of the population goes. That's what makes it apocalyptic. So it's hard with do I think I'd be one of the lucky few? Statistically, probably not. Right? But I don't think I'm going out like day one. I don't think it's like I'm trying to get a hold of Morgan and I get clubbed in the back and that's it.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, statistically, depending on the circumstances, is if it goes the ways of the movies, do I see me driving on the fucking salt flats, in Mad Max style? No.
I do.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, again, there it is. You just overestimate your abilities.
Juping up the car.
Juping? You mean juking?
Juking up the car.
Juicing it up?
Not juping. We'll put a jukebox in there.
Just be jukebox heroes,
And be a jukebox hero. And then my next question is, would you want to survive?
So again, that depends on the scenario of is there enough society worth sticking around for? You know what I mean?
Let's say there's tribes of people.
Sure.
But for the most part, government's collapsed. It's pretty wasteland.
Right. I don't know. Again, that's that. So it's that double-edged sword of if it's not entirely hopeless, then I would try and survive. Mm-hmm. Right. But if it's one of those have you ever read or seen The Road?
No, but I've
told you about it
definitely
before.
Told me about it.
Yeah,
it's a movie I want to watch.
Go ahead and just put yourself down in that situation. It's not worth it. You got people farming people for food.
That's the first thing I'd start doing.
And it's so fucking bleak, and it's I don't see the point. Which is one of the themes of that book is finding a reason to keep going, but it's at a certain point. You just gotta call it,
So, kind of going into that, I wanted to ask, because you did start dipping in one of the next questions I wanted to talk about, was, I wanted to discuss our plan of action of what we would want to do if we did survive, such as, how do you think, let's say it is natural disaster.
Sure.
Right? Just for example's sake.
Yeah.
What would you do to obtain food, entertainment, travel, Would you search for people? Would you search for government? I know that's a pretty heavy question, so we can kind of break that down one by one.
Yeah. Entertainment, you can jack off all you want. Check that one off.
Really, that's what
No. I mean, there's books, there's, I'm not a big reader, but if I ain't got a lot of options.
Reader, I barely know.
Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. If you enjoyed this week's episode. No, I mean, again, it sucks because all of my, pastimes are oh my, you just drank that like you were in the desert trying to get the last drops out of your canteen.
Yeah, well.
I was thinking the same thing. No, so you asked me a question. Let me answer it. Entertainment.
I always like to think of Will Smith from I Am Legend. He's going crazy in the movie store with all the mannequins flirting with him.
Yeah, so I do think about that. If I'm set up enough to have electricity, even whether it be through generator or solar panels or things like that, have a DVD player, I mean, take the PS5 with you,
You're set,
and just
dude.
play games.
Oh my god.
And
if the apocalypse happened, we had electricity, and I had the PS5 and all the games I've been wanting to play.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Though you might be better off buying or finding a little bit older console and doing split screen gaming if you're trying to have community feel, because you're not gonna have a network. You know what I mean? You're not.
No, I'm cool with single player games.
I am too. But if you're you know what, kids gather around, you know what you do? You fucking collect board games.
Oh yeah.
If it's because then you've got community building, social time, entertainment, food and water. Fuck all that shit. Food and water, rain collection, boil it. Food, scavenge it first. And you try and lean into agriculture as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Grow potatoes.
Like the Martian.
Yeah.
Out of shit.
Potatoes are pretty quick to
Spud.
to grow and then to turn into, you can duplicate it or multiply it pretty quickly.
Yeah, because you usually got to, cut them in half? And basically just
cut it in quarters and bury the quarters. And you got 4 taters growing now.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah, because you're eating the root basically, the tuber. But tuber, I barely know.
Hey,
thank you, buddy, so much for listening. I don't know. What do you got? You're asking these questions. What'd you come up with?
So as far as food,
fucking question, man.
That's right. As far as food, I do think I'd resort
to
cannibalism.
Did I answer all your points?
For that question, yeah. Oh, would you search for people or government? Is that something that you'd want to do?
Early on, maybe. I think early on enough, you're going to be okay, the government's probably not gone all the way, right? Let's see where they're held out. Maybe they had to wall off D.C. or something, right? They've got to be people out there still. But, pretty quickly, I think if they're not there, you find pretty quickly that you're all right, well, we better just start worrying about us, right? So you settle down. Morgan and I have talked about this before, because in the Walking Dead show, there's an episode relatively early on, episode season 3 maybe, where Rick makes the call to leave somebody on the side of the road that's trying to wave them down, and as they come back by, you see just their backpack on the ground.
Yeah.
And the obviously the insinuation there is that they didn't make it.
They got eaten.
And and so that's a tough thing of did we kill that guy? And Morgan's mother and I actually the ones that disagreed on this. And I was she's you got to take him in, and I'm do you take the risk and trust in him? And she's well, you've got to believe in the good in people, and you don't got to. When the world's over, baby, there's no good and bad. There's just me and them, And she's well, I don't know. And I was all right, fine. We let him in. We all go to bed that night, and in the middle of the night they assault or kill or hurt Morgan. And then who's that on, right? I'm not taking that shot. I know that they definitely won't if I don't invite them in.
Right.
And it's a double-edged sword, because eventually you have to if society is going to exist again, right, you have to start building a community of sorts.
But I think when it's something like that small still, to the point where
right,
it's just you guys.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. I like to kind of think of it Otherworld. We build a prison, and we kind of negotiate and talk to them, and but we make it cushy, right? It's not really prison.
You say Rimworld?
Huh?
Did you say Otherworld or Rimworld?
Oh, Rimworld.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Where you can kind of talk to them and negotiate with them and try to persuade them to stay there.
Try and feel them out.
But yeah, as far as government, fuck them.
Fuck them.
They ain't making it. they fall in first.
Yeah.
That's the whole shtick of it becoming an apocalypse. Is
Right.
Government's
They
out.
didn't make it.
What are what are a few items that you think would benefit us more than we often think? It's like obviously, in a really good example, I said was a can opener.
Yeah. Can opener, a good pair of shoes. Like all jokes aside, not the toe shoes, but like a good pair of shoes.
Give me the Timbs.
Yeah, right. Just sturdy
Boot.
Yeah.
Give me the Yeezy 350s.
Just a pair of Crocs, kicking in sport mode.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fucking strap across the ankle.
Unbelievable.
I don't know, man. You gotta fucking. You probably should have given me these questions before we started. That way I could have something interesting to say.
Shit, we don't ever talk about any of the news before we go in. We just dive right in, baby.
Yeah, but the news isn't me going like, yeah, what do you think of that? Give me an answer that's been thought out.
It just ain't fair.
Life ain't fair.
No, but I think some of the things that would be, definitely super useful, that I think we often don't think about is like a sprinkler system.
Sure.
Being able to have more options when it comes to like agriculture and such. The film to a greenhouse, again, that falls in the same category of like being able to trap that heat in there.
But that's under the assumption that you survive long enough to get to a point where you're settling.
If it's because of natural disaster, let's say, right?
Yeah.
How long is it really going to take? Now, if it's like a nuclear fallout, that's one thing. But I mean,
well, so it's not the natural disaster that necessarily kills everybody. The natural disaster destabilizes everything enough that the lack of structure kills everybody. Where there's just general lawlessness and no infrastructure. We now have to just survive, and it's every man for himself.
As soon as that happens, Briar, we already got the potatoes out there. We're
bugging out, baby.
Yeah. Tripping off the perk.
Yeah. Perk 30?
Perk 30.
Pea juice.
But then kind of just moving forward of like, what are like some risks you don't think you could take that are understandable to make, kind of like what you're saying about you and Morgan's mom, your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
What are some other situations like that where it's like, I don't think morally I could because it's putting me and my group in danger?
So we've talked about this before, Morgan and I, because she's kind of obsessed with the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Not in like a prepper way, but like apocalyptic media. Mm-hmm. She consumes a lot of like books and movies about the apocalypse and shows and stuff.
I could become a prepper.
I could see it, yeah.
What's that supposed to mean?
No, I'm saying I could see doing it.
Oh.
But I could see you doing it too. Fucking loon.
Yeah. Put chemicals in the water.
Now, I have family that are like far away, that are pretty near and dear to me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you just kind of have to accept that assume they're dead, right? Because like, there's no feasible, realistic, safe way to get them there without putting the rest of your unit in danger,
You can suck my unit.
Like my mom, dad, they're all nearby. I could gather them, her parents, get them all together and like, all right, let's go out into the woods or whatever, right? And just try and wait this thing out, If I got family in Texas, it's like a 18-hour drive away, they're dead. As far as I can expect, right? Just go, well, they're dead, or they're effectively dead as far as like, no sense in trying to get to them. So that's one of like, yeah, but we got to go get your grandmother, and you're like, sorry about it.
Who?
Yeah, I just can't justify
I ain't got no grandma.
Who, grandma?
It's just me.
Is this you?
You John Wayne.
Is it me? What about you? What'd you put down?
So honestly,
asking all these fucking questions, you ain't got no answers.
Whoa, man.
We're just getting so aggro.
Where's the Gavin?
Shit, yeah. No, fuck that.
So as far as like really tough situations, like the lingering question is like becoming a cannibal.
Oh, Jesus.
Because
there's ways to avoid it.
Well, sure, but like you're gonna hit a situation where it's like maybe that's the only food you really come by. Like, do you think you could do it? And if you could, how? And I think if it really boils down to it for survival, yeah, I could do it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but the thing is,
we've had people resort to cannibalism in a non-apocalyptic scenario.
1973 plane crash up in the
mountains.
The Colombian.
Yeah.
Or Venezuela. It was Venezuela.
I don't remember.
Somewhere in South America. They crashed up in the mountains. And they resorted to eating each other.
Yeah. Eating the dead.
Yeah, they ate the dead. Which
they ate the recently deceased.
If I were to die, and like I know my body could potentially be fuel for you,
right?
Eat me. There's a whole lot of meat on this carcass, baby. Whole lot of fucking
You just
meat.
tell me to eat you? That's pretty rude. Eat me.
Eat. Blow it out your ass. But I do think I could resort to it. Butt cheeks. And I think I'd make jerky. I'd try to dry it. I don't think I could
I like
cook
that you're getting into prep.
Yeah.
How'd you prepare it? I'd saute some onions and
First off, I'd caramelize
the onions.
Caramelize these onions. Get a nice
Sear on the butt cheek steak.
Slap it on, make it a blue steak.
Yeah.
Throw some clam chowder on the side. I'm just sitting on G waiting for you know?
Yeah, I'm waiting for everybody else to pick up their folks, you know? 'Cause I'm ready to dine.
go.
Everybody else is whimpering and you're over here fucking tucking your napkin in to your neck, into your collar. Get ready to fucking... You're drooling.
I'm what I'm having.
You've always wanted to eat some long pork, you know?
I got some long pork for you.
And that's what the cannibals call it. Like the native cannibals, long pork, long pig is what they call human. I'm not fucking around. Like this ain't a joke. Long pig is what they call man.
I'm telling you, people have told me I had a long pig, you know?
Ask your questions, question man.
But so like, I guess that was one of the big things I wanted to talk about. And then two is like, but so yeah, like I guess morally, where do you think you'd lie? Do you think you'd be a little more ruthless?
Man. Just purge style. As soon as the fucking my mom's sitting on G waiting on O, you know.
Sitting on G waiting on O.
No, I don't know. I've talked with Morgan about that as well, like situationally, like
purge starts, you turn around, just shoot Morgan right in the head.
Just like, bop! No, all right, well, free agent, you know.
Let's get this thing started.
Yeah. Oh my God, oh, Jesus. One less mouth, you know. Let's move. Like, why are you your wife?
Why? I often like to think of it as Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
You know, like trying to be able to haul all the way to like a sanctuary.
Sure.
I could see myself doing that. Obviously making it. Cake.
Fucking easy, GG.
Yeah. Fucking too fucking easy. Get good.
Noobs.
But I mean, is there any like moral struggle that you think obviously you'd fall in?
I think morally, I'm equipped for an apocalypse. Because situation I think you can justify.
I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah, first of all.
Yeah, like on the real.
Yeah.
Not having to work again.
Not having the expectations of society, right? Just cut that off right away. And it's a pretty simple life, you know. It's just, you're back to basics, baby. You know, what is on the hierarchy of needs? You know, you're down to the resources, food, water, shelter.
Yep.
Once you satisfy those, you can worry about something else.
And then you can start just fucking entertaining yourself.
Right. You know, there's no currency, right?
Oh my god,
son of a bitch.
I almost welcome an apocalypse.
Yeah, right.
Like if we became an anarchy.
Been slipped into unrest. You're just trying to advocate for a revolution, an upheaval.
Hear me, people.
Yeah. Friends, Romans, countrymen. Lend me your ears.
I guess I wanted to finish off with my last question here of like, where do you think would be an ideal place to be at when that happens? Obviously, you have like North Pole, Antarctica, Alaska. But I want something more like where we're at now. What is a realistic goal that you think you'd be
to like get somewhere?
Yeah, if we get here, we should be okay.
I honestly have thought about like, in more in the prepper things or way of things, like building a place just in the middle of nowhere, like in the woods or whatever. Just build a fucking cabin.
Living off the land.
Right. Just go off grid. Right. Or like,
well, I mean, we're all off grid at that point, but
right. But I mean, way off grid. Yeah. Like, you know, there's no addresses to follow. You know, where you're using landmarks to drive off the road. Like in the woods, I've talked about like converting a RV or a camper van or a trailer of some kind into like
an armored vehicle,
potentially, or just like a living situation of like, okay, this is going to have our water, our shelter in there. You know, and just take that out into the woods and start setting up shop. You know, something like that. I think that's your best bet. Is just away from people.
Yeah,
I'd like to be on the beach. I'm trying to think practically, and you're just like, I just want to see the ocean. I want to dip my toesies, you know.
Well, no, like realistically speaking, I would like to be close to a body of water.
Sure.
Because if shit does fly off, like I gotta fucking bounce out of here. I can just go to sea, and you know, obviously
just be surrounded by water you can't drink.
You can boil it. I mean, there are ways to.
Sure, desalinate salt water, yeah.
You know, so it's not the end of the world. Do I know them? No. Should I learn how to do it? Probably. But I know there's the what is it, the saran wrap trick you can do, where
Yeah,
you
where you
put
let it
rocks on
condense.
top, and it's the condensation of it. That's like the biggest way to drink salt water. It's like I think one of the few ways to drink salt water.
Yep.
But so that's definitely an option. But then I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I would like to revert it kind of to simple times of like not having to worry about anything else other than
Yep.
food, water, shelter, and just the basic needs to survive.
Yeah. Just take it back to fucking
But I mean,
like dynasty times.
sure, but I mean,
Dynastic, where you're like, well, I've got this settlement. There's another settlement a day and a half's travel that direction, and maybe eventually we'll trade with them.
I just think if like I'm on a body of water or close to it, fish out there.
Sure.
I love fish,
Yeah.
so I mean I could eat seafood all day. In a way, I guess you do have water. Let's say it's a lake,
Right.
and still boil it, drinkable water.
Yeah. Stream.
Yeah, stream would be really good. But then there is like the luxury aspect of it, of comfortability.
Yeah.
So that to me is a big thing. I'd hate to be somewhere where I'm constantly uncomfortable. In a post-apocalyptic world, I don't know, like, because for me, I'm a very emotional person.
Yeah, you're a creature comfort kind of guy.
So I mean, in a world that's
You're very
post-apocalyptic,
easy to like unsettle.
and so like in a post-apocalyptic world, something like that is going to be very important to me. Of being able to like, all right, this situation fucking blows, and life as I know it means nothing anymore. But I got a coconut, and I'm on the beach.
Put the lime
in the coconut and chicken all over, man. But yeah, I mean that's really that was my final thought on it. Of I'm just kind of surviving in a post-apocalyptic world. I do think I have high hopes by saying I'll survive.
Yeah.
But I also think where we're located, if it's a natural disaster, we're pretty all right. I think we only really have to worry about like tornadoes would be the big one.
Tornadoes or fire, heat or cold.
We're pretty humid though.
Sure. I'm just saying, if the climate keeps changing, right? I mean,
Listen,
you can't guarantee what the climate's like.
you wake me up at 7 a.m. sharp, I'll piss like a racehorse. I'll put out any fire you put in front of me.
I'd have to wake you up at 7 a.m.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
It's like trying to wake
Speaking
the
of,
dead.
I gotta go to work early tomorrow. Oh my god.
You don't gotta do nothing.
All I gotta do is pay my taxes and die.
That's right.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I do like to hope I would survive. But I can hope.
Hope one hand, shit in the other, See which one fills up first.
Hope.
Poisons the soul.
Poisons the soul.
Nah, I'm with you. I think, like,
Cause I don't think I'm dumb, but I do think like, damn,
just fucking,
that silence was
I don't think
very loud.
I don't think I'm dumb.
Well, now I don't think I'm like let's say minus like the mass murder that would happen if it was just a case of, yeah, like you got to survive.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay. I think I know enough about like, obviously this how you plant stuff, keep crops alive. This is what you got to do, and as well as like a source of water, like a rain barrel, like you were saying, or being able
Water's
to
first.
right, being able to get water somewhere.
Yeah, you got to get water, then you get food.
And so like I feel like it'd be rocky at first. I'm not saying I'm gonna be fucking doing
Breezing,
this.
yeah.
Like a walk in the park. But I do think I'd be okay. Now,
Do you think you could kill somebody?
we've talked about this,
Yeah.
and I think we've both agreed that like I don't think I could pull a trigger and kill somebody, because that's a lot just off a single movement. But if I'm fighting for my life, like with my bare hands, you just lose it, and you just natural instincts take over.
Yeah.
Because like I've been in one fight before, like one actual fight.
Yeah.
And it was a case of like when I was fighting this kid. Granted, I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I'm crying and I just can't control my emotions. I'm beating the piss out of this guy.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I'm making him eat grass.
Yeah.
Telling him I'm going to tell everyone at school tomorrow that he's a dirty little bitch. Right. Like that's just
Dirty little piss boy. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's just.
Yeah.
Like I was there, but like I wasn't really there.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. So I do think it would be a case of something along the lines of that. I do feel like maybe after a while you'd become a little desensitized to it.
Yeah, it just becomes easier. It just becomes like a
it's like sneezing.
part of living.
So I do feel like after a while, eventually I'll probably be like, I'm too fucking tired to fight this guy like Beowulf.
Yeah. Pull the Indiana Jones. Just
What about you? You think you kill anybody? I already have.
think I know. Pardon?
Well, what you mean by that?
No, yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said a little too easy.
I mean, if it comes down, if it's a me or them, yeah.
It's me, baby.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm always on top.
I'm not
I got my money. I'm not my funny.
If the assumption is they're trying to take my life, I'm gonna try and take theirs because, like, sorry about it. I don't. You know,
Mine's more valuable.
I ain't checking out. I ain't ready to have my card punched.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
All right, is that all you had for me?
Yeah, that was wrapping it up there for my
Cryptid topic of sort.
cryptid discussion.
Yeah.
But,
Chris is creepy corn. I don't know.
But what about you? What do you even think about, baby?
So I've been playing this Medieval Dynasty game.
Yeah.
It's pretty all right.
Pretty all right? Just all right?
Yeah, got a few hours in it. I don't think I've...
It's just 138.
Jesus, Chrome. I don't know, man. Nah, it's like 6.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with it so far, but I don't know. I feel like there's either stuff that's not in it that I wish there was, or I'm not there yet.
Okay.
As far as like...
Now, you said it's only in early access right now, though, right?
No.
That totally picked up.
I didn't hear anything. No, it is a full release, but they're still updating it.
Like, that's what it is.
You know, like a Minecraft or whatever. You know, Minecraft. So I don't know. It's fun. Like I said, it's fun. You're building up your own like little settlement in this medieval village or like a valley with multiple villages in it. And I do wish that like there's a game called Banished that is a city builder. And it's like a medieval times, and it's kind of nice to like evolve to a point where you've got like a village of 200 people, and you've got a school, and there's a couple taverns, and you're making clothing and things like that. And like you can build a tavern in this, but it feels just so far away.
Right.
It feels slow going.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I was watching you build a little bit, and it does seem very time consuming for not a lot of reward.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's just a case of like if I'm still technically early game, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like I was telling you, I don't think there's a way to like have your villagers continue to build the village for you. It's basically just you have to manually place every block that you're like if I'm trying to build a city or like a reasonable sized village, am I gonna have to place every log by hand? You know what I mean?
Right.
That seems goofy.
Right.
If you've got, a village of people, they should all be helping.
And you're the only one fucking building.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a nice aspect of like they can continue to collect resources for you. That kind of takes that element of the gameplay out as far as like I don't have to go chop the tree to build the house, but I still gotta build a motherfucking house. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
That's a back and forth game. It sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. But they are like in the early stages of adding co-op.
That's what I'm fucking excited.
And I could see that being like, okay, well now wait a minute. I think it would be because there's plenty of times where it's like, okay, well if I had 2 hands, this would be
right.
Easier,
somebody can be getting the materials while the other one's just constantly building.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be dope. That'd be a fun game for us to play too. I'd want to make fucking swords, and I'd be a knight.
And like I don't know. It's like I haven't had any combat yet, but it does talk like I can build a wooden club, like a cudgel, things like that.
See, now, I would kind of want.
You can, and like there's.
I would hope you can find like castles and stuff in there.
I don't
like
think
that
so.
would be fucking cool, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so.
Shame.
That's
what we need to do. We need to make a medieval crafting game, but you can just make a your kingdom.
Yeah,
and you got to defend it from other kingdoms, bandits.
I like the idea of like a city builder being an element of a game where like it's a city builder and then you like that's how you build your settlement,
right? And
then you can go in and just first person explore, like live in your village that you built.
Yeah, that's what I'd really like.
But I don't know, man. What you been thinking about?
No, I've been playing. My buddy got
Project Zomboid.
Project Zomboid.
Yeah.
And we're playing that, and he listens to the episodes. So I mean, sorry in advance, my man. He sucks at the game.
Yeah, it's a hard game.
He said he does, and like I get it, but like you and I got that shit down pat.
Yeah, like,
and I do think we
figured it out.
We communicate
pretty well
on a different level.
Yeah, I mean we've got a different. We're a whole other level.
We're just built different.
Like we make Morgan jealous, Yeah, I'll tell her she's my best friend, and she'll be like, "No, I'm not. Chris is." And I'm like, "All right, well you ain't wrong." But that's fair. You're my wife. He's my best friend.
So like we're running, and like I had a train of zombies on me, like all wanting to fuck me. And I'm like, I'll call him Bob. And this, and
hey, Jim Bob.
I'm like, Bob, what do you what you doing? He goes, I'm over here looting. I'm like, all right, well, fucking drop the loot. Like, come help me. You know, I can't run because I'm over encumbered right now, and these zombies are
on me.
Yeah. He's like, all right, let me finish this up real quick. I'm like, this isn't like a finish this up, dude. If I die, I have to restart my entire character.
My whole life.
And I may spawn on the different side of the map, and I have to come try to find you again.
Right.
He's like, oh. He comes out there. By the time he's out there, I'm over here. The zombies are just ripping me open.
Yeah.
I'm over here just fucking rubbing my eyes like, all right, it's getting pretty late.
Yeah,
you know, I'm tired, bro. I mean, he texted me. He was like, I've been playing solo. I've been playing solo on it and trying to get hang of the game. And I'm like, you get hang of it by yourself or with another person? Because like you and me, I'd be like, Colin, I need help clearing out these zombies. And you'd take them out from the back, and I'd start taking them out from the front and would Eiffel Tower them.
Yeah.
And so
meet in the middle.
We just have a system, an unspoken system.
We play a lot of games together too. Like we're pretty in synchronous, you know, like we're like two peas in a pod.
Like two fucking nuts in a ball sack.
It's you and me, baby.
Right between the old spigots, you know. Do a little, you know what I'm saying?
Not quite, but I'll figure it out.
Butt rubbing.
I'll ask you out.
What? You'll ask me out.
I'll ask you out.
No, you know, that's the biggest thing I've been thinking about. Like I said, I'm going on a little trip here, so I'll be gone next week. So I'm just making sure I got all my ducks in a row before I head out and everything. But well, that's about it.
Word. There you go. I asked you now.
Huh?
I asked you now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I appreciate
it. Again, we want to thank you guys so much for your attention and support. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a great review and share it on social media. Tell your friends about us. Word of mouth obviously can be a big old help. Let's see. Make sure you're liking, following, subscribing on your audio streaming service of choice so you can get notified when we post our episodes. I do want to point out last week we acted like that shit wasn't going to be out until Friday or Thursday.
Yeah, it was
we
out
still got
day.
It out on Wednesday. We recorded it, edited it, posted it on the Wednesday. You know why? Because we're just built.
We're
different.
just fucking swole.
We're what?
Swole.
I was going to say sweaty.
Dude, we're
always a little sweaty.
I'm always sweating, man.
Yeah, that's my secret cap. I'm always
my
chunky.
My head's got grease on it right now, man.
You could fucking fry chips on my fucking forehead.
Shit, baby, you grilling chicken out here? I'm just playing. You always piss this loud.
People want to get in touch with us, give us some feedback, ask us questions, tell us about their apocalyptic experiences. How do they do that, Chris?
Yeah, of course. Well, first off, you can always check out, our socials, our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well. We're still uploading on there now.
Slow going, but we're getting there.
And that's going to be the Simply Whelmed podcast. You can always check out our Twitter. I've been trying to tweet a little more lately. I thought I laid out a pretty good question on Twitter, too, or statement, I suppose, of some news I heard. Trying to engage more, but our Twitter handle is whelmed_simply. And then, of course, you can
we'll have to get a thread.
We'll have to.
Yeah. I think just our Instagram account is all it is.
Is this a thread?
What?
What'd you call me? No, just your Instagram account just has a thread naturally.
Yeah. Well, so you have to download the Threads app. But then when you go to sign into it, it's like, is this you on Instagram? You're like, yeah, and then it's like, all right, here you go.
Here you go. But you can always take a look at us, send us an email, send us what you would do in your post-apocalyptic questions. I mean, if you have anything in specific or a very interesting, intricate way.
If you're a prepper, tell us something about your prep. Obviously,
if you're
I know
a prepper,
you don't want
let us know. We'll get you on the podcast to interview you and talk to you about it.
I want you to give us all the details, including the locations of all your stashes.
But you can definitely shoot us an email at simplywellmailbag@gmail.com.
Yes. Hopefully next week. Well, the episode that releases next week, we're gonna have just a shorter episode because of the way we're having to record this week, and it'll hopefully be a review of Mission Impossible Fallout or Dead Reckoning. That's what it is, part 1. Which apparently from the previewings and stuff is at like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Of course it is. Tom Cruise and his Scientology, they're fucking holding up Hollywood somehow. Cut it
out. They are litigious as fuck. They'll sue us into the fucking ground.
How? It's freedom of speech.
And you can sue people for anything. I could sue you for spitting gum in my yard.
That's true.
The whole point is that we don't have the power or the money to fight back, so they can sue us into silence.
I was just playing.
I was just fucking. I was just
goobering,
goofing.
Grandpa, it's 3 a.m. Quit goofing around.
I don't know. I think that's the end of the episode. Just say bye.
Bye.